foremost, we want to thank you for sharing your time with us today and allowing us just a peek inside the genius. You know what I'm saying? If you want to introduce yourself to our viewers, please take this time to do that now.
I appreciate it. Well, I am Arthur J.Dillard. I'm known as the Barberpreneur, and I am the author of the children's book series JD the Kid Barber. It's loosely based off my life, growing up in the state of Mississippi. Just looking forward to you guys getting an inside look in terms of my journey to where we are today.
Absolutely. It's really dope to see Black men writing children's books. You know, they like to make it seem like we don't be in our community and we don't do enough with our kids. And I think it's a beautiful thing that you're not only reaching the children in your immediate vicinity, but children nationwide, you know what I'm saying, with your artistry. What attracted you to writing books for children specifically?
Great question. I knew I wanted to write something, and I always told myself that I wanted to make a change. So in order to make a change, you have to affect the youth. So the best way to do that was to allow, the new generations to see everything moving forward, through my eyes in the children's form. And that's how I end up, writing the children's book series.
Okay. Now, how much of yourself would you say you've imbued into the book? I know the character is named after you, but would you say this is like a copy and paste of your actual experiences, or are these more inspired stories?
True events.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd say about 85% is true events, and we kind of leave things open for everyone else to speculate. But to answer your question, about 85% is true events. That's what made it very intriguing for me to be able to flow the way I did, because I was just basically reminiscing from the times I was coming up. You know what I'm saying, as a child.
I dig that. So as a writer as well, I know that a lot of times when we're putting our thoughts on paper, we're kind of rehashing moments, and it's really therapeutic a lot of times. Did you find yourself having to break in a lot of your stories to kind of regather yourself, reliving those moments? Was that difficult for you, or is it just like a simple retelling of your story?
No, that's another good question. You pretty much hit the nail on the head. Because I struggled for a while. It took me 6 months to a year to actually write book one, because I was new to writing, and when I got with a co-writer who basically sat down in retrospect and said, "Hey, I'm gonna make you a better writer," and open up Google Docs, and she began to push certain questions towards me. And you don't really remember things from your past because so much time has lapsed. You gotten older, got into other careers, forged new relationships. But, the brain is an amazing thing that we have. Your memory is an amazing thing we have. And it's just certain things that were just acts of me that I remembered. And then from that point, I began to elaborate. And then I just found myself, chuckling and giggling and writing stuff down. And then from that point, I never thought that, the things I went through as a child would actually be funny. So,
right.
But at the same time, relatable.
It sounds like a good kind of therapy.
I agree. Absolutely. And me being a professional master barber, we get all walks of life to sit in our chair every day. So therefore, we're looking at, as therapists, because, we go home every day with so much information we can't share with the world. and man, and not only do we have to perform a service, and beautify people from the neck up, we also have to console as well. So absolutely.
That's intense. I never really thought about it from that perspective. That's enlightening. What book are we on now?
Well, I did 3 series books. Let me back up a little bit. When my book got purchased, I only wrote 1 book, which was JD and the Great Barber Battle. Okay. It was submitted to 10 publishing companies, and 4 came back with deals within 2 weeks.
Nice.
I didn't know which direction to go to. My team allowed me to speak with every publishing company personally to see exactly how I felt. And then I kind of leaned on my co-writer because they have a lot of experience, and we decided to go with Random House. And reason being is because of their brand, and I wanted to be a part of their marketing brand. And also, you know, when they flew me up to New York State, I really sat down with the team and I asked them some genuine questions. You know, was my book actually picked up based on the time it was in, you know, dealing with this, you know, the George Floyd and, you know, this whole Black Lives Matter situation. It was just so much going on at that particular time. Or were they genuinely interested in the piece that I actually wrote? And I had the ability to look everybody in the eye, and they broke everything down. And I left away, you know, feeling that they was extremely genuine with their answers. So needless to say, when I walked out, they didn't want me to just write one book. They asked me how I felt in terms of completing a series, because they felt what we did within book one was great enough to become a series. And I had to give it some thought. And that's how we was able to basically create a legacy by taking book one that it took a lot out of me to do, and come back and actually create a series. And that's how I end up here, my friend.
Man, that's amazing, bro. Just having that kind of validation from the people that you're doing this business with, in regards to something that I know is very intimate, you know, in a lot of ways. And knowing that they're not just using you as a money grab or as a black screen on Instagram situation, like it's authentic. I feel like that's really dope. That's inspiring to me, you know.
I appreciate it. That was important to me as a melanated person out here, man, with the story, not knowing that I'll be sitting here today with Sheen magazine. So
yes, sir. Yes, man. Hey, man, it's up from here. It's only up from here. What do you have next? Are you working on more books? Are you going to stick with JD and his story, or are you going to shift gears and start writing other stories as well?
As of right now, I'm a professional master barber, and I've been touring with different acts for the past 22 years. And I literally just got back less than 36 hours ago from New Zealand for the past 2 months.
Wow.
So, yeah, with the client. So they're commissioning me to write 2 more books to the series, but we took a brief pause because we just dropped the Spanish version for JD the Kid Barber series, which is doing extremely well. They're like 36,000 copies within the first month that we released it in October of this year. So it has a crossover, and you know, I'm just extremely, extremely grateful. And it starts back with my team, but more importantly, the educators within the school, because they're the ones who coming across these books and they're pushing it to their principals, and the principals is trying to get it within the budget through the superintendents and so forth and so on. And these schools are just picking up the book like wildfire. And in retrospect, man, during the weekday, you know, I have the ability to go and travel and do presentations, you know, along with my illustrator, King Roberts, who illustrated this amazing book throughout the week at different parts across the United States. And when I said it's been amazing, it's been amazing because I get emotional. I'm not a father, but to walk inside these schools and they know who I am by face as an author, and they know the story, that's very emotional. And I enjoy looking at all these beautiful kids' faces, but also when I go to a lot of dominant Black areas, I see all these beautiful brown and Black faces. They just light up and they're intrigued by the story, but more importantly, they get a chance to meet the author and the illustrator, and it just makes their day. And we only there for 20, 30, 40 minutes. They have the most repetitive, coolest questions. It's just super, super dope. So, but yeah, we haven't been commissioned, but there have been conversations for the past year and a half about adding on to the series. And for me, it's more so balanced now because I'm more so on now than what I was then. So, but we see what's what. We, you know, we keeping the lines of communication open, and you know, if you guys want it, and if you guys want it, you know, I'll stop making excuses, sit down, open up this computer again, man, and create some more.
It sounds like you might want to get started, man. It sounds like it's already catching fire, bro. You might want to get a head start.
I already got a text message today from my literary agency. Hey, JD, are you back in the States? I'm like, yeah.
Get to work, bro.
Absolutely.
So without telling us too much, can you give us a little synopsis about what happens to JD? What is the story? The first book, at least. What's going to grab the readers and yank them in and hold us there?
What I've learned is I picked up clippers at the age of 10. And reason why I picked up clippers at the age of 10, and I'm 47 now, is the fact that my mother used to cut my hair and my little brother's hair, and she did it to save money. But just like anybody else, you might know where I'm going with this. I got a bad haircut. So I'm originally from Mississippi. So my mother sent me to school the next day
with the bad haircut. No, Mom.
So I got ridiculed. I got teased, talked about. It was insane. So my hair grew back pretty quickly then, you know what I'm saying? And because of that bad haircut, we're in the same club now. Same club. But needless to say, because of that, that's pretty much how the story kicks off. I took those clippers and my mother never touched my head again from that point. And then you have to take consideration, there wasn't any social medias, there wasn't any cutting charts, there wasn't any books. You know what I'm saying? It was you just learning. And I had a little brother that was a guinea pig. And because of that bad haircut, because my mother chose to save money and she wanted to spend more quality time with me and my brother, because she was a working parent, that catapulted my career that I have now. So I always tell everybody has a story. You never know. You might go to school and do this, military, but there's certain things that happen within your life that you might have to plan for one thing, and just like that, it can be a certain shift, and mine happened at a very, very young age. So to not tell a whole lot about the book for the readers who haven't had the opportunity, book one kind of talks about, how I got started. Of course, you have the climax of the book where therefore I get into a little, trouble with the local barbershop because I'm picking up a certain clientele.
Okay, stepping on some toes.
Yeah, and towards the end of book one, you kind of go into, a situation that has to be resolved and what will actually come out of this situation, good, bad, happy, or indifferent. So that's kind of like how book one is. And then from that point, it spills over into just like anything else, you developing, creating a family situation, and you kind of inspire other people to do other things. And we get into JD and the family business, because in real life, my middle sister became a cosmetologist, behind me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But we kind of fast tracked it to get into the social media portion of everything. Right. And of course, based on that, you get more recognition. And then the local television and things began to catch wind. And then from that point, we catapult into book 3, which is JD and the Great Hair Show Showdown, which I used to compete, and I used to also educate on the stages at Brown Brothers Hair Show in Atlanta.
Hey.
Yeah, man. And Long Beach, California, and Premiere Expo. I used to do a lot of platforming and brand recognition, for several years, and kind of got burnt out on it, and built my own brand. And that kind of how we kind of got into book 3, and he has the stages, and you have the pros and the cons, some sad moments, some inspiring moments. But book 1 is definitely my heart. And if anybody take anything from book 1, it's a couple of pointers in there that's important to me. Number 1, I talked a lot about finance, because I think young, being financially educated at a young age, is important. A lot of us didn't have that ability, and we kind of catch up to that in the lateral parts of our years, in our teens and late teens, 20s, and 30s. But I broke down some math problems that I felt was important, and I got some great positive feedback. you know, how to pay booth rent, how to come back and reinvest within your tools and products, and also separating your tips from your actual, you know what I'm saying, commission from your haircuts. And I made it very simplistic, and I put it in within, you know, an elementary form, whatever is extremely understandable. And the second thing, you know, was, you know, your health. You know, I'm a vegan now, but coming up in Mississippi, we ate everything from our term, from the rooter to the tutor, but we knew what was in our products, you know,
Right.
not to take away from anything in today's time, but, you know, those are two things I really wanted to celebrate. And last but not least, I talk, and you'll be able to see through the series, the importance of family, but more importantly, support. Because I got that support at a young age, and it wasn't just like what I used to say. People say a lot of things as a formality, and you can tell the difference if it's something that's being said as a formality or it's something actually being genuine told to you. And growing up, it was a lot of genuine situations. So, and when you have that genuine support, where they're not just telling you that, then it kind of like fuel you to continue to push and go forward with certain things. And that's how I put a lot of energy and effort in wanting to get better at a young age with cutting hair. So that's what
prolific, bro.
With it.
What would current JD want to say to book one JD if he had the chance?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. You did it. I'm here because of you.
I like that.
You did everything right. Because if you had changed anything, I wouldn't be here interviewing with you guys. So I can just tell him thank you.
That's valid. I respect that immensely.
He's a good kid.
He's a good kid. He seems like a good guy. You know what I'm saying? It all worked out.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yo, Mr. Dillard, I really appreciate you spending this time with us and giving us this insight on your book and your work and your art and your life. I don't have any more questions, man. Knocked it out the park, bro.
It's all good. With anything, man, thank you for the opportunity. I've always seen you guys' books a lot at the hair shows, the magazines, and the fact that you guys are still relevant in the way, you know, everything is changing within our industry from paperback to digital. You know what I'm saying? That says a whole lot. So I got a chance to do a little bit more research on you guys, and because of our publicist, Nicole, you know, she speaks very highly to you guys. You know, you guys are with her very near and dear. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you to her. And I'm looking forward to interviewing with you guys. You know what I'm saying? On some other things to come. So
for sure. I can see it.
So look for TV things coming down the pipeline next year, man.
Copy that. Okay. Copy that. Thank you again, Mr. Dillard. Thank you, Mr. Cole. Y'all have a beautiful day, man.
Likewise.
Yes, sir. All right, now.